fucking die!
Yeah, I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. Bitch, you can't kill me. And then I do that.
Welcome back to part 2 of New Year's Eve in LA. I literally took a break from StoryTime to organize and clean and just get my life visually together because at this point, day 1 of my 2022 needed some serious revamping. So I got up and I cleaned and I'm much happier knowing that I could tell this story from a clear point of view. Okay, so I had a feeling I wasn't in the frame and I just had to go back and fix the frame and make it like look good again. Anywho, so yeah, I had to take a break to clean and get my brain like in New Year energy, and then now I'm back and I do have a New Year drink because as I said before, I left the bottle here, so I have a whole bottle, and I bought these beautiful champagne glasses for me to vlog on New Year's. I was planning on vlogging New Year's Eve, but it's New Year's Day, so I can still utilize it. So I did make me a little cocktail, a cocktail in the champagne glass, because what we celebrating, we going up, uppity up up. Anywho, yeah, so where was I don't even remember where I finished in the last story. I was saying when we got to the club, so they're counting down and then we're surfing through the crowd. It hits number 1. These balloons that are supposed to fall out don't even fall out. It is just like it's the Twilight Zone. Like, that's all I can, like, okay, if I am going to explain what it felt like the Matrix combined with the video game of Free Guy combined with an on-set production. None of it felt real. Like, if someone would have been like, Niz, you're pranked, and Ashton Kutcher would have jumped out of somewhere, I would not have been surprised. I would have been like, I pretty much thought so, because it felt like a prank night, bro. Like, it literally felt like a prank. Like, okay, so we're sorting through the crowd. We're getting to Quick Nick's, her boss friend. We're on our way to him. Then we get to this space, and she's like, oh, he's on stage. She's like, but how do you get up there? And let me just explain to y'all what it looked like. It looks like we were in an auditorium. I'm going to keep using the high school prom analogy because that is what it most reminded me of. It was like a high school auditorium, and then it steps this way and it steps this way that go onto the stage. And on the stage, it's like an area over here on the stage, and it's an area over here on the stage. On this area on the stage, you have the DJ, and then you have like I guess a table, what would be considered a table. And then on this area, you have just another table. So she's like, how do you get up on the stage? And me, just like logically, I'm like, oh, it's steps right here. Let's just go up the steps. It wasn't nobody like knocking you. I guess if you looked like you didn't belong, like they were like, no, but we didn't really look like we didn't belong. Like, as far as I thought, like, I'm just like, well, we look like we belong up there, so just come on. Like, so I walk up the stage and I'm thinking she's following me. I don't know. I feel like she did follow me, but she stopped and I kept walking. So basically, I go up the stage. I like go over here, like people just like, oh my god, you look so nice, I love your fit. Like, I had one of those fits on, i.e. right here, because I did decide to bring her out. I was gonna wear her for the rest of the vlog, but then I was like, let me just bring her out so that like an eyewitness, literally an eyewitness of what happened last night, right here beside us. Yes, she is. But anyway, Everyone's like just kind of complimenting me. I'm just kind of like blown with the crowd. But even the people who were complimenting me, they gave me agent vibes or free guy. What was he supposed to be? Like the person in the game that's just kind of there, like it's not an actual player. That's what the people were giving me, like either paid actresses, but not like actresses. What are those actresses called that just be there? Why am I having a brain freeze on camera? Those actresses that are just extras. They were like extras. Everybody in the audience reminded me of extras. I felt like I was being punked, bro. Anywho, so everyone's just complimenting me. Then I get to the other side. So I told you it's a section over here on the side of the stage, and this is a section on the other side of the stage. So I make it to the other side of the stage, and clearly once I get to the other side of the stage, it's very like obvious that these people aren't black. Like these are like all either Mexicans or some type of Hispanic type people. I'm just looking at them. I'm like, I'm still getting compliments, but I'm like, this is a family. This ain't no just like regular section of cool people. Like this is like a family. So the one guy, he's like, yeah, I'm here. He's like, this is our event. We're the reason all these people are here. And I'm just looking at him like, oh, that's nice. Because you know, when you in a club, like people just be trying to tell you like stuff to make you impressed by who they are. But realistically, it's just like, okay. So then this guy starts coming around. He's like, everybody who doesn't belong, get off the stage. Like, if you don't belong here, get off the stage. And I'm just looking, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's obvious that I don't belong over here. Like, all these people are Mexican. I'm the only black person over there. On top of being the only black person over there, like, I have this super gaudy outfit on. They, like, have outfits on, but they not dressed like how I'm dressed. They got, like, a dress on, like a high school prom. I would say not even prom, like homecoming. It was giving me more homecoming vibes than prom. They got like their homecoming outfit on. I got like full out prom fit on. Like that's how it was. So then I see the guy who's kicking people off the stage getting closer to me, and I know me. Like I'm not trying to argue with nobody. Like I don't like people telling me what to do, and usually when people tell me what to do, I always do the opposite. So I was like, well, let me just finagle myself off of the stage because once he tells me to get off of the stage, I feel like it's going to go crazy. So I just go down, and literally as soon as I get off the stage, I must walk like maybe like 2 seconds. I look down on my phone, and my friend who I come with, she texts me and she's like, I'm still on stage. Then I was like, this has to be Twilight Zone. Like, okay, like I literally just left stage. So now I'm trying to figure out somewhere where I could just go chill and be incognito and just kind of like take in this situation. Just maybe people watch, like just better understand. So I get over to this area, and it's like sections. It's like the middle area of the auditorium was just sections. And but the sections are all touching each other. So if you're not in the section, you're basically behind the section. So I get to this area where I'm standing behind sections, and I feel like I look pretty incognito. I'm like, okay, I blend in. Bro, as soon as I thought I blend in, I look around, and it's like obvious clicks. It's like a click over here, a click over here, a click over here. I'm standing there with my champagne glass that I took from Nikki's house. And then I remember this one guy like nudging his friend, like, look, she tried to be slick. He thought that I got close to them with my empty glass because I wanted some of their champagne. And I was just like, oh my God, not only do I look thirsty, but I look thirsty. Like it looked like I was trying to get some of their liquor. And I was just like, oh, not incognito at all. Like go somewhere else. So I moved around to another area, and it was like that same type vibe. Like it, like the agents were all around me. I felt like everybody was staring at me. Mind you, y'all, I was cross-faded. And then I'm in a place where I don't know anyone, and the only person I knew was on stage with her bossy friend. I'm down here. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is how we're starting off 2022. So I look over and then I asked this girl, I was like, where's the bathroom? And she was like, it's up there. So there were steps that took me to the top, and I get in the line that I'm thinking is the line to the bathroom. It's actually the line to a bar situation. Like there was beverages there. So as I'm getting closer to the bar, I'm like, shit, I done stood in this line. I gotta do something now. So then I'm just kind of like, should I get a drink? Like, but I already crossfaded, and like, I don't even want to say that I was paranoid, because I didn't feel paranoid, but I felt like I was inside a game. So like at this point, like I'm kind of like freaking out a little bit. So I'm like, all right, play it cool. And I'm like, don't ask for a cup of water because that means you're broke. I was like, but don't ask for a drink because that is a waste of money. Like, you're not going to drink it. So I'm like, hey, can I have a bottle of water? One bartender to the other bartender. She just wants a bottle of water. And I'm just kind of like, I should have just asked for a cup of water at this point because they still acted the same way. Anywho, I get my bottle of water, and I don't want to be walking around the club drinking a bottle of water. So I open it and I put half the bottle of water inside the champagne glass. So now I'm just kind of like shuffling around, and I'm wondering like, what should I do? It's weird. It's like people are complimenting me, but at this point I'm not even believing the compliments. I'm like, thank you, agent. Like I literally feel like I'm inside a fucking game. And then I'm just kind of like, you know, surfing around, trying to figure somewhere where I could go to be incognito, but not to look, because I didn't want to look like, oh, this bitch is at a New Year's Eve party at this. New Year's Eve parties are those parties that you're with your friends, bro. You're with friends and family. Like, I was alone on New Year's Eve, and there's a bunch of cliquey people, so it just looked weird. Like, I know I looked weird. Anywho, I go to the front. I have my champagne glass now filled up with water. And I go to the front of, I don't know, it's kind of like where you leave. And I'm like, dang, should I just leave? Like, my friend is up there with her bossy friend. I'm just down here around. So I put in my address. I put in my address to get a Uber. Y'all, $99 for Uber. I'm like, no, I just paid $100 to get here. I'm not about to pay $100 to go home after I've been here for like literally 30 minutes. Like, what in the world? So I just turn back around. As soon as I turn back around, who is right there but Nikki? And she's just like waving to me. She's like, hey. I'm about to go upstairs, or you want to go home? Like, what you want to do? Like, she keep asking me. I'm just like, it's whatever you want to do. Like, I don't know. But I was just so happy to be around a familiar face and not feel like I was alone, because that I felt abandoned. Like, my worst fear, abandonment. I felt abandoned at that party. So I'm just like, it doesn't matter. Like, whatever you want to do, like, you want to leave, like, we could leave. You want to stay, we can stay. Like, it just doesn't matter. So at this point, we're just kind of like out in the middle, and she's like, I gotta find my boss friend again. I'm like, all right, I got a friend. Like, at least I could get some content now. Y'all, why all the content I thought I got, I must have like just had the camera open, but not had pressed the record button, because I didn't get any good content. But I got a little bit of outfit content, but when it scrolled past my face, like you could tell I was drunk high. Like I was cross faded. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. But anywho, so now she's like, oh, my boss friend is on the stage. Like, let's go over there again. So we make our way to the stage, and her boss friend, he tells me to sit down. He's like, here, sit right here. This is on the other side. Now where the Mexicans are, the other side. Oh, big, how the fuck did I forget this part? Random. When I went down and I was like trying to be incognito, I looked back to the stage. And when I looked back to the stage, I realized that like on the DJ side of the stage, like where the black people was, it was a lot of girls from Blue Club there. And y'all, if y'all don't watch Blues Girls Club, like you're not really going to understand. But he, like Blueface, the artist, he has a reality show. And it's all about like these girls who are pretty much like different versions of me. Like they all deal with like abandonment. They all deal like really pretty girls though that deal with abandonment, like spiritual, like trying to balance themselves spiritually and mentally. They got daddy issues. Like it's just like every girl is an aspect of myself on that show. So I love watching it, like anger management issues, like everything. Like they just remind me of myself. So I actually watched the show. So when I look back, it's one of the like well, I would guess you would say the two of the bigger stars from the reality show, like the ones who like everyone kind of had their eyes on. They're on a stage and I'm just like, what in the random? Like I actually watched this show. These girls are the ones who was hosting this party. Like, and not only do I watch the show, like I'm an avid commenter on the show. Like I comment. If y'all know me, like I am Mrs. Twitter fingers, but the thing about Twitter fingers is these things back up. Like these things heavy on the backup. Like they back up. So we go back. He told me to sit down, so I'm sitting down. And now the girls are kind of like around me. Like the number one girl, she's actually allegedly Blueface's mistress slash artist slash, I don't know. They get money together. But anywho, she's from Baltimore. Her name is Chrisean. She goes by Rocky or Rock. She's on the stage and she comes like she's standing literally right in front of me. And I'm just looking like, first of all, she's way bigger than you would ever imagine from watching that show. Because if you watch that show, you think she's like a little tiny thing because all of her, like she's very proportionate. Like her body is very proportionate. And it looks like a tiny girl. Like if I was to estimate how tall she was, I would have thought she was like maybe 5 feet, like 4'11", like maybe 5 feet. If 5 feet, like 5 feet 5'1". Like I just thought she was a small girl. Bro, she's inching 6. She has to be almost 6 feet. Like she's a stallion. And she's standing in front of me. She's very drunk. You could tell that she was like drunk or high. Like she was probably crossfaded as well. She's standing in front of me. She got like her bottle Casamigos in her hand. Her outfit is kind of like messed up. Like, I don't know. Like, you know when your leggings are kind of like scrunched up. Like they just not evenly placed. I don't know. It was just kind of like you could tell she was having like a fun wild night. But she's just standing in front of me. She like bumped into me a few times. And it was a few girls who bumped into me that night. And like every time somebody bumped into me, I gave them a look like, yo, watch your body. And I'm giving her this look like, watch your body. But it was just kind of like a softer watch your body look because I actually like fuck with her. So then another one of them come and stand in front of me. And her name is, why don't I know her name? Zoey. 2 times Zoey, Zoey 2 times on Instagram. So Zoey comes in, Zoey stands in front of me. And Zoey is obviously tall on the show, but she's like, in person, she's tall too, but in person, she's actually fine. Like on the show, you can't really tell that Zoey is fine. She just looks like a tall John. Like, she just looks like a tall girl. But in real life, she's like actually Model S. She's like a thick Model S. Like I would say she could go for plus size model, but she's Model S. She's tall as hell. She's thick. Her body is crazy. Like her proportions are insane. And her face is actually really pretty. Her face is cute on the show, but you just gotta watch the show. Like she be making faces, she be drooling when she yell, and it just be funny. You just don't know she that much of a baddie. But in person, she's actually a baddie. So she had came and sat in front of me or stood in front of me. Like, why these people are in front of me? Like, you best believe I'm doing my observations. Like, I'm just like, okay. Like, sizing them up, watching them. Both of them had really basic outfits on, like, all black spandex. That just went for that all black spandex look. And I guess it's cool. Like, all black spandex, Yeezys on the feet. Like, just real, normal, traditional hair pulled back. And then they both just kind of had, like, makeup look nice. So, okay, like, the security guards are coming around doing the same thing. If we don't know you on the stage, like, get off. But this time, My friend's boss friend had told me to sit down. So I'm like, oh, I've been told to sit here by a boss. So I'm not about to move. Like, I'm just gonna stay here. I just like sat there looking pretty, like tried to look pretty. I don't know what I looked like in real life because, as I said, I was crossfaded. But I just sat there, like held my ground, and I realized the security guards didn't come anywhere near me. That is when I really was like, yo, it feels like I'm in a video game. Because if you guys have seen Free Guy, if you haven't seen Free Guy, spoiler alert, there is like these characters that belong in video games who like no one else is playing them. They're just literally there to be the extras. Like the butler on Tomb Raider. Like he's just literally there. That's what the security guard gave me. Like literally one of those extra characters that's just like in the game to be part of the story of the game, but really like not a movable character. Because when I looked over, it looked like the security guard was just like literally moving from here to here, saying like everybody who doesn't belong, like move, but he wasn't really doing anything. And people who felt like they didn't belong were leaving, but like he wasn't moving anybody. So I was like, I'm not going nowhere. Like, he's not going to say nothing to me. He really didn't. Literally, we stayed there till the end of the club. I looked up. Nikki's still behind me. Like, she's having fun. Also, Tory Lanez was supposed to come. He never came. I'm like, well, first of all, he was the whole flyer of the event. I think that they be doing that too, like capping. He was the entire flyer of the event. The man literally never showed up, like at all night. They're like, Tory Lanez is on his way, he about to be in the, like literally all night they're saying this and the man never comes. So anywho, we ended up leaving the party, and at this point I think because I sat down, the liquor kind of sat in a little bit. Or we smoked again, something, but I just remember I was feeling less sober. I was feeling less sober at the moment. So as I'm feeling less sober, it's time to leave. We end up going to my friend's car. So the boss guy, he ended up taking us home. We got to her apartment. I fell asleep the whole time in the car. I get to her apartment. I go to lay down and she's like, take your makeup off. And I'm like, bro, I don't have no makeup remover. I'm crossfaded as everything. Like, I could take it off in the morning. So I ended up sleeping on my coat so that makeup wouldn't get on her bed. And I got makeup on my coat, so I'm hella annoyed. And then this morning, as soon as I got up, she had like workout clothes on and she was like cleaning her kitchen. And I was just like, oh, she doing New Year's Day cleaning and like getting her little goals together. Let me just call my Uber and just be done. And that's what I did. I literally just called my Uber and came home, and that was my New Year's Eve. It was so chaotic. Oh my God. Then I come home and it is absolutely a mess in here. It was like so chaotic in here, and I was just like, no, this is not my New Year's Day. But now that I've had time to like, clean up and just like get my little life together, I feel way more confident about like how New Year's Day panned out. And even last night, like New Year's Eve going into New Year's Day, I felt like all of that was meant to happen for a reason. Like just how I look at the world now, like we are in the Matrix. Like I swear to God, we are living inside someone's game. And I really, really felt like I was the main player last night. Like I just felt like I was Free Guy last night. That's who I was. It was insane. But I also think that if you look at the world in that aspect, like as just literally a game, all these people are fucking agents around you and you're the main player, like life gonna seem so like much different, like less serious, because you just laughing at the actors and the extras that are around you, and then you just kind of like taking life as it is. You're not taking nobody too serious. Like security guard, you can't make or break my life. Like just keep going back and forth, like do your little part of the game. But I feel like all of that happened for a reason, so I look at life differently, and the more I look at life differently, the less nervous I am to attack it, because y'all are agents anyway. Like the fuck. Anyway, cheers to a happy new year.
I'm a bad bitch. You can't kill me. Bitch, you can't kill me. And did I do that?